the month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@randyradio.com.
Congratulations to this local business for all they do for the community. And don't forget, for envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banner wraps, and more, go to LincolnPrintersInc.com.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. In June, the Clinton Board of Education voted to part ways with former Superintendent Drew Goebel. Tuesday night, calls from the community asked for the resignation of former Board of Education President Dan Matthews. Matthews resigned his position as president of the Board of Education shortly after Goebel's dismissal. Sarah Bateson was among a trio of speakers to call for the resignation of Matthews, citing inappropriate conduct with board members and staff.
I'm here with many of the people sitting here behind me to make a formal request tonight that Dan Matthews resign from the Clinton CUSD 15 Board of Education. I want to make it clear that this is not a request based simply on disagreements over policy, personalities, or the direction of the district. Healthy disagreement is an important part of public governance. My concerns are a cumulative pattern of conduct that has been brought to my attention by others and that I believe warrants serious consideration because of the impacts of the functioning of the board, our employees, our administration, and the public's confidence in this district. Conduct towards board members and staff. There have been multiple occasions in which there's been that has involved yelling, profanity, and highly confrontational behavior toward fellow board members. There have also been concerns regarding comments or interactions with staff and board members that were perceived as degrading, intimidating, and personally attacking. Regardless of the underlying disagreement, I believe board members have an obligation to conduct themselves in a manner that allows employees and fellow board members to raise concerns without fear of being personally attacked or intimidated.
Rustin Wirtz has applied for the opening on the Board of Education left vacant when John Heinlein resigned shortly after the dismissal of Goebel in June. He is accusing Matthews of sharing confidential information.
Last Tuesday, a family member was cornered in a store here in town by a member of the community who was not on the board and who had told my family member that I had applied for the vacant position, as well as who also applied and who was going to be selected. When asked who had told them this information, they replied, Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews, is it true you share confidential information with the community? And what other closed session material have you shared? With even a speculation of distrust for the community, I think you should resign immediately. I want to thank Mrs. Ennis for receiving my email and following up with me promptly and professionally. Thank you.
Michelle Fortune also called for Matthews' resignation, citing alleged comments from Matthews speaking poorly of the district and questioning why he would want to serve on the board when having a low opinion of the district.
I have been told by several people on how Dan Matthews has represented himself as our school board president and conducted himself, talking horrible about our school, our district, and teachers. I've had 3 kids go through this district and 1 currently still in this district. Never in my life would I ever talk to someone how you talk to someone. So I greatly apologize for everyone that has come into contact with you or you said something to. How can you continue on our school board if you feel this way about our district, our teachers? So I'm requesting your resignation immediately from our district. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Also at the Tuesday night Clinton Board of Education meeting, Chris Hammer was named the Clinton Board of Education president. The board approved the tentative financial year 27 budget. It will go on file and be voted on in September. To allow the tentative budget to be on file for the required 30 days, the board moved its September meeting to Tuesday, September 29th. In its consent agenda, the board approved the resignation of its junior high girls track coach and the varsity baseball coach, and approved the hiring of Brian Ennis as varsity baseball coach. The Board of Education also debated its policy regarding animals that were not service animals in the school buildings, a discussion prompted by a pair of CES staff who bring their pets into the building. Local authorities say the summer at Clinton Lake and Weldon Springs State Park was relatively quiet. On the WHOW Morning Show Tuesday, Department of Natural Resources Conservation Police Officer Noah Workman told the Hart Media Group they were fortunate there were not more major issues at the lake because they were very short-staffed this summer.
It was the tedious, not small things, I don't want to say, just the typical things, but we have officers right now. We have recruits in the academy, so that took 2 officers out of the field, and then I went away for military leave. One of our other officers got promoted to a sergeant, so we were just very short manned in our district this summer. So I think we probably had the same amount of busyness. It was just spread thin. We were spread thin.
Yeah.
So the work was just going to 2-3 officers to cover the whole district. Domestics, things like that, we still had those. The fights at the state parks, of course, we're focused on getting the boats on the water at the different bodies of water within our district. So with 4 officers working, it was just, we were stretched thin. I must speak from my perspective. Like I said, I've been hitting the boat ramps and the boat patrols hard since I got back in the beginning of August, late July. I haven't. I complimented a lot of people the other day sitting at boat ramps, just kids in life jackets. I've said it, I've harped it a million times on this show. And that's one of my big focuses is to keep your kids safe. Obviously everybody's safe, but the kids are my number one priority focus. And I've just noticed a lot of it. And I'll get out and tell people like, hey, thank you very much for your kid being in a life jacket, because so many times in law enforcement, your interaction with law enforcement is going to be a negative. Make it a point to get out and say, thanks, following the rules. Thanks for, following the law and keeping your kids safe.
There have been several positives at the lake recently. Officer Workman credits not only boaters on the lake this summer for adhering to safety vest regulations, but he is noticing speeding in the park is down as well.
The speeding, I've been doing speed in the park. I kind of talk about that year in and year out. I've noticed it's slowed down. So as a whole, like I can sit at my little spot. Maybe they just found out where I sit. I don't change it up too often. Maybe they've just found where I sit. But in my one little area, I've noticed the speeds have gone down, which I've asked, everybody to do. And that was very much appreciated, especially out at Clint Lake. They got the bike walk path, but some people just prefer walking on that pavement for some reason with that very narrow road. And so it just keep them safe. People like to have a couple beverages when they go camping and hang, and you get too many and emotions get high. And then the heat. It's funny, in law enforcement, you talk to probably the chief and the sheriff on here, and they always say they have the calls for service and everything. As the temperature rises, the amount of calls, it's a direct correlation. And so that holds true with the same out of the Clinton Lake, Weldon Springs, and even Kickapoo and Vermilion, Grandview up in Bloomington, all of our state parks. As the temperature goes up, alcohol increases, population of people going into the parks increase, and you're just going to have an increase in calls for service. And domestics, lost kids, that's another one. Kids go out at night to go walk the timber, and mom and dad kind of panic because they haven't found them. So your kid life 360, if you let your kids do that, put an air tag on them. But we get a couple of those every year. Wow. We get our lost dog, which I'll help people with their lost dog. You get camping. It's kind of like boating. You get kind of that relaxed state, and you just kind of don't think about the little rules or the little reasons why we have these rules. And people let them off, and then they'll call us and like, my dog ran away. And it's like, well, I wasn't on the leash in the beginning. It's more at that point, it's more about finding somebody's dog than it is to address the dog off leash. We'll address that once the dog's. We want them on leashes so they don't bite other people or bite other dogs. But also for this reason right here, you're tying me up to find your dog.
According to Officer Workman, an alarming trend is people using the parks as a place to take their own lives, a topic personal to him. He is encouraging anyone thinking about taking their own life to reach out to somebody. If reaching out to somebody close to you is not an option, call or text 988 or chat at 988lifeline.org. 988 is a free, confidential 24/7 service operating nationwide that routes users to local crisis centers to connect them with trained counselors. Specialized subnetworks are accessible. For the Veterans Crisis Line, press 1 or text 838-255. Get news anytime from your computer or from your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about back-to-school preparations. Part of getting your kids ready for the new school year means making sure they're healthy. SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back-to-school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine. Forward for you.
Our local hospitals are the heartbeat of our communities, delivering critical care every hour of every day for everyone, training the next generation of caregivers. Beyond the walls, their benefit to the community is everywhere, driving the local economy and supporting local organizations, initiatives, and neighbors. Illinois Hospitals, healing communities. Learn more at team-iha.org. Sponsored by the Illinois Health and Hospital Association, aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Tristan Peters hit a 2-run double off Jacob deGrom during Chicago's 6-run first inning, and the Chicago White Sox held off the Texas Rangers 11-7 on Tuesday night. Peters also went deep in the 6th, extending his career-high homer streak to 4 games. The All-Star outfielder had 3 of Chicago's 14 hits and walked twice.
1-0 is crunched in the air deep to right. It is gone. He's got a 4-game home run streak. Wow. 11-7.
When you are hot, why would you ever think about doing anything but trying to hit the ball over the fence? And he has that swing working, and he's having a perfect night.
Brenton Doyle added 2 hits and 2 RBIs as the AL Central leading White Sox, who sit at 69 and 63, improved to 3-3 on a 7-game homestand. Texas had won 4 of 5, including an 11-2 victory over Chicago on Monday night. The Rangers are 66 and 67 and dropped into second in the sluggish AL West and fell a half a game back of Houston. Jake Berger, Danny Jansen, and Justin Fuskew homered for Texas. The Rangers loaded the bases with 2 outs in the 9th. Grant Taylor came in and earned his 8th save when Cody Freeman bounced into a fielder's choice. deGrom is 9-9 and was charged with 8 runs and 6 hits in 3 2/3 innings. The 2-time Cy Young Award winner issued 5 walks and struck out a season-low 2. The 8 earned runs were the most allowed by deGrom since joining the Rangers and matched his career high. Peters' broken bat liner to right drove in Miguel Vargas and Braden Montgomery, giving Chicago a 4-0 lead. Doyle followed with a 2-run single.
Swing and a base hit to right. Vargas will score. Here comes Braden. It is a 2-run double to make it 4-zip in the first. Now that feels good.
deGrom has surrendered 26 runs in the first inning over his 25 starts this season and 61 runs overall. Texas closed within 10-7 on Foskew's 9th homer, a 2-run drive to left in the 6th. Peters responded with a solo shot in the bottom half for his 11th career homer all this season.
Pitch. Club deep to left. That is trouble. In the corner. Gone. 2-run homer. It's 10-7.
White Sox left-hander Anthony Kay allowed 4 runs and 6 hits in 4 2/3 innings. Brian Hudson is 4-4 and got 4 outs for the win. Left-hander Mackenzie Gore is 7-9 with a 4.26 ERA and pitches for Texas in the series finale on Wednesday night. Right-hander Sean Burke is 7-6 with a 3.27 ERA and starts for Chicago. The Sox return to WHOW tonight as they wrap up their series with the Rangers. Pregame starts at 6 p.m. Pete Alonso had 4 hits, including a 3-run homer, and drove in 4 runs before leaving the game in the 5th inning. And the Baltimore Orioles routed the swooning St. Louis Cardinals 13-1 on Tuesday night. Chris Bassett is 5-4 and allowed 1 run on 6 hits in 6 2/3 innings, matching his longest start of the season. He struck out 5 and walked none as the Orioles, who are chasing an AL wildcard spot, won for the 3rd time in 4 games. The Cardinals lost their 4th straight. Alonso, who has been dealing with a nagging calf injury, left shortly after he contributed his 4th hit, an RBI double, during Baltimore's 8-run 5th that made it 12-1. He put the Orioles ahead 3-0 with his 435-foot shot in the 3rd off Matthew Liberatore, who is 5-12, his 31st homer of the season. Jackson Holliday had 3 hits, scored twice, and drove in a run for the Orioles in his first big league appearance in St. Louis, where his father Matt starred for the Cardinals. Christian Encarnacion Strand had a pair of hits, including a 450-foot homer in the 3rd, and drove in 3. Leody Taveras had 2 hits, scored twice, and drove in 2 runs. Liberatore allowed a season-high 8 runs on 8 hits in 4+ innings. He struck out 7 and walked 1. Nathan Church homered for the Cardinals. Alec Burleson extended his hitting streak to 11 games, the longest active streak in the National League with a 6-inning single. Pedro Pajes pitched a scoreless 9th. It was the 2nd time in the last 3 games that the Cardinals catcher closed out a game on the mound. Orioles righty Kyle Bradish is 7-12 with a 3.7 ERA and will face Cardinals righty Michael McGreevy, who is 5-9 with a 3.54 ERA on Wednesday night. Pinch hitter Ryan Waldschmidt hit a game-winning 2-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and the Arizona Diamondbacks rallied to stun the Chicago Cubs 5-4 on Tuesday night. The D-backs pulled 1 game behind the San Diego Padres for the final NL wildcard spot. Trailing 4-3 in the 9th, Tim Tawa coaxed a 1-out walk from Jacob Webb to start the decisive rally. Ildemaro Vargas flew out to right field for the 2nd out before pinch runner Jose Fernandez stole second base. Waldschmidt, a rookie, then launched a no-doubt homer over the left field fence to set off a raucous celebration. It was Waldschmidt's 2nd walk-off homer of the season. Arizona trailed 4-0 in the 8th before mounting a 2-out rally against reliever Daniel Palencia. Gabriel Moreno hit a check swing RBI that hugged the first base line and stayed fair before Geraldo Perdomo's 2-run single cut the deficit to 4-3. Webb relieved Palencia and coaxed a ground out from Max Kepler to end the threat. Ian Happ hit a 3-run homer in the 4th to push the Cubs ahead 3-0. Michael Busch's RBI single in the 6th made it 4-0. Busch and Seiya Suzuki both had hits. The D-backs rally ruined a great outing for Clay Holmes, who breezed through the D-backs lineup, giving up 2 singles and 2 walks while striking out 5 over 7 scoreless innings. The right-hander has given up just 1 earned run over his past 19 innings, spanning 3 starts. Arizona's Brandon Pfaadt is 7-2 and gave up 4 runs on 6 hits and 2 walks, striking out 3. He didn't allow a hit over the first 3 innings, but gave up a single and a double in the 4th before Happ's 3-run homer. The D-backs send lefty Eduardo Rodriguez who is 13-4 with a 2.61 ERA, to the mound to face Cubs lefty Matthew Boyd, who is 8-2 with a 4.15 ERA. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Boston Red Sox took down the Miami Marlins 7-3 in 11 innings. The Detroit Tigers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 4-1. The Colorado Rockies beat the Washington Nationals 3-1, while the Houston Astros took down the New York Yankees 9-7. The Kansas City Royals beat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-3, while the New York Mets beat the Milwaukee Brewers 3-2 in 10 innings. The Atlanta Braves took down the Los Angeles Dodgers 4-3, while the Cleveland Guardians beat the Los Angeles Angels 8-6 in 10 innings. The Athletics beat the Minnesota Twins 4-2, while the Seattle Mariners beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-1. The Pittsburgh Pirates blanked the San Diego Padres 1-0, while the San Francisco Giants beat the Cincinnati Reds 3-1. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4-lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
SIU Center for Family Medicine is here to help with back to school and sports physicals. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317.